Hi everyone, this is Charles May again. This is my posting on the Esther and Greek Esther forum for Interpreting the Hebrew Bible 2 for Chicago Theological Seminary online class. Um, Looking over the question that we've been asked to discuss, um, I think what I saw in while reading Esther and Greek Esther with regards to Jewish diaspora identity came at the end of the books, especially the end of Esther and the end of Greek Esther, and that referred to primarily Jews having the right to defend themselves. Um, in the canonical book of Esther, there's storytelling of the Jews defeating their enemies, and 14,000 are killed in 2 days at the hands of the Jews. What is missing in the canonical version that is present in the, or at least that I found telling, that was absent from the canonical as opposed to the apocryphal versions of the story, are that you get to see the edicts that were handed down. And in the canonical version, it kind of seems like the Jews are just killing people indiscriminately. Um, but when you read the apocryphal versions and you see the edicts from Artaxerxes, that basically are saying that the order to kill the Jews has been rescinded, but if anyone tries to kill the Jews, then they are perfectly within their right to defend themselves, which is interesting in our society today. How the notion of self-defense seems to be a God-given right, that if someone tries to kill you, that you have the right to defend yourself from not, to keep yourself from being killed. News stories all the time are talking about, people, a man shoots an unarmed teenager and claims self-defense, and or instances where someone shoots someone who is armed and defending themselves, and they're not punished for doing what they do. So there seems to be this kind of biblical permission for people to defend themselves if you read the apocryphal version. Because it states that anyone who tries to do harm to these Jewish people after this order has been rescinded, their lives are on their own hands. And you can imagine how, with communication being what it was back in those days, that some people may have only seen the first edict from Haman, and not from the edict from Artaxerxes rescinding Haman's order and giving Jews the right to defend themselves. Although I can't help but think that maybe it would have been easier just to have soldiers defending the Jews as opposed to the Jews defending themselves. But that's also kind of a pacifist, although not really a pacifist. If you have soldiers who are doing the killing, it really doesn't matter who's doing the killing. The killing is being done. So that's, I think, two of the things that really struck, or one of the things that really struck with me with regards to describing Jewish existence in diaspora, and how the Greek version, I think, is a little bit better for explaining why the Jews would need to defend themselves. So there's so yeah, I can definitely see how the stories of Esther and Jews defending themselves can be applied to today's society. A lot of times, people who are accused of overstepping the bounds of self-defense are usually instances where there may also be a tinge of racism or race politics. I'm thinking of the what is his name? Trayvon Martin incident in Florida, and other instances where a kid knocks on the wrong door, and because he's the wrong color of the person who lives in the house, he ends up dead or injured or something. And so there's those as well. So I guess that's my take on Esther. It's interesting that the how the Book of Esther being one of the festival scrolls read every year during the Festival of Purim. There was an incident that I remember reading or hearing about where a man, after hearing the Book of Esther read, and especially the part about a Jewish man, especially the part about reading about the destruction of the enemies of Israel. I believe it was a man in Israel. It may have been in the United States, but after hearing uh, the tale of defending themselves, went out and shot up I believe it was a Muslim after-school center or something like that. So even today, the actual Book of Esther and those verses calling upon the Jews to defend themselves and to slaughter their enemies um, are still used today. So that's my take on the on Esther and Greek Esther. Thanks for watching. I look forward to reading your comments later. Bye.